At 11:47 p.m. on March 23, 1945, First Lieutenant Frank Delano, flying at 18,000 feet above Nuremberg, Germany, when something tears through the nose cone of his Northrop P-6-1 Black Widow night fighter. The aircraft is nicknamed Silent Reaper. Delano is 24 years old. He has completed 89 combat missions. He has 31 confirmed kills. All of those kills were achieved using the radar system that has just been destroyed. The -720 Seychelles rupees radar weighs 400 pounds. It consists of vacuum tubes, cathode ray displays, and mechanical scanning mechanisms. The green phosphorescent blip on the scope shows 5 German Messerschmitt Me 260 jet fighters. Then the scope goes dark. Shrapnel has destroyed the transmitter assembly and both waveguides. Technical Sergeant Paul Hendrix, age 25, sits in the compartment behind Delano's cockpit. He's the radar operator. He watches sparks cascade from the shattered electronics. He reports that the radar is completely dead. Standard night interception doctrine requires radar for every phase of engagement. Detection requires radar. Tracking requires radar. Approach requires radar. Firing solution requires radar. The -720 Seychelles rupees can track targets 5 miles away. It can guide Delano to within 1,000 feet of an enemy aircraft. It can position him in the enemy's blind spot where defensive gunners cannot see him. Without radar, doctrine states that Delano should break off the engagement. He should return to base. He should allow another night fighter to take over the interception. There is no other night fighter available. The 422nd Night Fighter Squadron has 3 P-61s operational tonight. One is grounded with hydraulic failure. The second aircraft is 90 miles south, already engaged with other targets. Delano is the only aircraft positioned between 5 Me-260 jets and a stream of 84 B-17 Flying Fortress bombers returning from Dresden. The bomber stream contains 840 men. Those bombers have no fighter escort. They are navigating by dead reckoning through darkness. They are completely vulnerable to jet attack. The Me-262 can fly at 540 miles per hour. The P-61 has a maximum speed of 366 miles per hour. Delano is 174 miles per hour slower than the aircraft he's supposed to intercept. The jets are heading toward the bomber stream on a direct intercept course. Without radar, Delano has no method to detect them. Without detection, he cannot position for an attack. Without positioning, he cannot protect the bombers. Night fighter pilot mortality rates in March 1945 are 34%. Most deaths are not from enemy fire. They are from mid-air collisions in darkness. They are from flying into terrain that pilots cannot see. They are from overshooting targets and stalling into unrecoverable spins. The P-61 is America's purpose-built night fighter. It has a 61-foot wingspan. It carries for 20mm cannons in the nose and a remote-controlled turret with twin .50 caliber machine guns. It was designed to fight at night using technological systems. Delano has just lost the most important system. The temperature at 18,000 feet is -15 degrees Fahrenheit. Delano's breath fogs inside his oxygen mask. Through the canopy, he sees nothing. No stars, no moon, no horizon. Only absolute darkness and the faint blue glow of his instrument panel. Staff Sergeant Robert Martinez, age 23, sits in the rotating turret behind the cockpit. Martinez is the turret gunner. He has fired 14,000 rounds in combat. He has destroyed 8 German aircraft. He has never missed a target that Delano positioned for him. But Martinez cannot shoot what he cannot see. In this darkness, visual range is approximately 200 feet. The target has navigation lights. German jets do not use navigation lights during combat operations. Delano checks his airspeed, 285 miles per hour. The jets are pulling away. In 4 minutes, they will reach the bomber stream. Delano has approximately 90 seconds to decide whether he will attempt something that violates every principle of night fighter doctrine, or whether 840 men will face jet attack without warning. The doctrine is clear on this point. Night interception without radar is not difficult. It is not dangerous. It is impossible according to the manuals written by men who have studied thousands of night combat engagements. The numbers support their conclusion. The human eye requires approximately 30 minutes to achieve full dark adaptation. Delano has been flying with instrument lighting for the past 90 minutes, which means his night vision is partially compromised. Even with perfect dark adaptation, human visual range in moonless conditions is approximately 200 feet for an aircraft-sized object. The Me-262 has a wingspan of 41 feet. At 200 feet separation, visual detection allows approximately 0.4 seconds of reaction time, closing speeds of 600 miles per hour combined. That is not enough time for target identification, weapons alignment, or firing solution. The SCR-720 radar system solves this problem through technology. It transmits radio pulses at 3000 MHz. Those pulses reflect off enemy aircraft and return to the receiver. The system calculates distance, bearing, and altitude. It presents this information on a cathode ray display that the radar operator can read and communicate to the pilot. Effective range is 5 miles in clear conditions, reduced to 3 miles in heavy weather. The system allows night fighters to detect, track, and engage targets that are completely invisible to human vision. Without the radar, Delano must rely on alternative methods. Visual detection is insufficient for the reasons already stated. Radio direction finding could theoretically locate German aircraft if they are transmitting, but the Me-262 pilots are maintaining radio silence except for brief tactical communications. Ground-controlled interception could guide Delano toward the targets, but the nearest Allied radar station is 140 miles away, beyond effective range for precise vectors at this altitude. That leaves acoustic detection. The Me-262 uses Toyonka's Jumo 004 turbojet engines. Each engine produces 1,980 pounds of thrust. The compressor blades spin at 8,700 revolutions per minute. Exhaust gases exit at 1,300 degrees Fahrenheit. At full power, the engines produce a distinctive high-pitched whine that is fundamentally different from propeller-driven aircraft. In theory, this sound could be audible from 2 miles away under perfect conditions. The conditions are not perfect. The P-61's own engines produce 4,200 horsepower of competing noise. The Pratt & Whitney 2800 radial engines driving the propellers create a deep roar that fills the cockpits even through the sound insulation. Whine noise at 285 miles per hour adds another layer of interference. Delano's leather flight helmet and oxygen mask muffle external sounds further. He's attempting to detect a specific acoustic signature in an environment designed to prevent acoustic detection. The physics are problematic. Sound travels at approximately 1,100 feet per second at 18,000 feet altitude, where temperature and air pressure reduce propagation speed. A jet traveling at 540 miles per hour covers 790 feet per second. The Doppler effect will shift the frequency of the engine noise based on whether the jet is approaching or receding. Sound reflects off cloud layers. It refracts through temperature inversions. Direction finding using human hearing in three-dimensional space is unreliable even in controlled conditions. Standard night fighter doctrine states that radar loss requires immediate mission abort. This doctrine is based on statistical analysis of previous attempts to engage without radar. Between 1942 and 1945, Allied night fighters attempted 47 documented engagements after radar failure. 3 resulted in confirmed kills. 12 resulted in the loss of the night fighter to collision or disorientation. The remaining 32 resulted in no contact with enemy aircraft. The success rate is 6.4%. The loss rate is 25.5%. Delano has 89 missions of experience. He has 31 confirmed kills. All of his training, all of his success, all of his survival has been built on the foundation of radar-guided interception. He's being asked to abandon that foundation and attempt something that the statistics say will fail. He's being asked to hunt 5 jets that fly 174 miles per hour faster than his aircraft. He's being asked to do this in absolute darkness, using methods that experts have declared ineffective. The alternative is to let 840 men face jet attack without warning. The Me-262 carries for 30mm Mk, 108 cannons. Each cannon fires explosive rounds that can destroy a B-17 with 3 hits. The jets can attack from angles where bomber defensive gunners cannot effectively return fire. In darkness, the bombers will not see the jets approaching until the first aircraft begins to explode. At 11:49 p.m., Delano makes his decision. He's not breaking off. Frank Delano was born in Worcester, Massachusetts in 1921. His father worked in a textile mill. His mother managed the household budget through the Depression years. Delano graduated from Worcester Classical High School in 1939. He worked as a machinist's apprentice for 11 months before the draft board called him in October 1940. He was 19 years old. Paul Hendrix grew up in Denver, Colorado. His father was a mathematics teacher. Hendrix studied mechanical engineering for 2 years at the University of Colorado before enlisting in January 1942. He was assigned to radar operator training because of his technical background. He completed the course at Boca Raton Army Airfield in Florida. The course lasted 16 weeks. It covered radio theory, cathode ray tube operation, and target tracking procedures. Robert Martinez was raised in San Antonio, Texas. He worked in his uncle's machine shop from age 14. He learned precision metal work and tool operation. He enlisted 3 weeks after Pearl Harbor. He was 20 years old. The Army assigned him to aerial gunnery school because of his mechanical aptitude and steady hands. He scored in the top 8% of his class at Tyndall Field Gunnery Range. The 3 men were assigned to the 422nd Night Fighter Squadron in August 1943. The squadron was equipped with Douglas P-70 aircraft initially. These were modified A-20 attack bombers fitted with early radar systems. The crews trained in night flying procedures at Orlando Army Air Base. They practiced radar intercepts against friendly aircraft acting as targets. They learned to coordinate between pilot, radar operator, and gunner in darkness where normal visual references did not exist. Delano's first combat mission occurred on December 4, 1943 over Italy. The mission lasted 2 hours and 17 minutes. No enemy contact was made. His first kill came on January 18, 1944. The target was a German Ru-88 night bomber. The engagement took place at 14,000 feet in cloud cover. Hendrix detected the target at 4 miles range. Delano closed to 800 feet. Martinez fired a 3-second burst that destroyed the Ru-88's left engine and wing root. The entire engagement from detection to kill lasted 6 Minutes. The squadron transitioned to P-61 Black Widow aircraft in April 1944. The P-61 was larger and heavier than the P-70. It carried more fuel and ammunition. The radar system was more powerful and more reliable. The turret was remotely controlled from the gunner's position, allowing Martinez to track targets through a full 360-degree rotation. Delano spent 42 hours learning the P-61's handling characteristics. The aircraft was more stable than the P-70, but less responsive in rapid maneuvers. By March 1945, Delano had flown 89 combat missions, totaling 327 hours of night operations. He had achieved 31 confirmed kills against German aircraft. 23 were bombers, 8 were fighters. All engagements followed standard radar intercept procedures. Hendrix would detect the target. Delano would close the range using Hendrix's verbal guidance. Martinez would fire when Delano positioned the aircraft within effective range. The system worked because each man performed his specific function and trusted the others to perform theirs. None of the 31 previous kills involved acoustic tracking. None involved visual interception in total darkness. None involved engaging an enemy aircraft that was faster than the P-61. The crew's experience was built entirely on radar-guided procedures. Their training had not included acoustic detection methods because doctrine considered such methods unreliable and dangerous. The Silent Reaper acquired its nickname after the 15th kill in October 1944. Ground crews painted the name on the nose section below the cockpit. Delano did not request the nickname. He did not encourage it. He accepted it because ground crews needed to identify individual aircraft and because refusing would have seemed ungrateful for the work those crews performed maintaining the aircraft. Delano had written 17 letters home to his mother in Worcester between January and March 1945. The letters described were the conditions and food quality and the countryside around the airbase. They did not describe combat missions. They did not mention the 31 kills. They did not discuss the statistical probability that he would not complete his tour. His mother responded with news about the textile mill and neighborhood events and the Victory Garden she maintained in the backyard. At 11:49 p.m. on March 23, 1945. None of this personal history refers to the immediate problem. Delano's background in Worcester does not help him track jets without radar. Hendrix's engineering education does not repair destroyed electronics. Martinez's gunnery scores do not locate invisible targets. The three men have equipment that has failed and training that does not cover their current situation. What they have is 89 missions of working together that will have to be sufficient. Delano reduces throttle to 240 miles per hour at 11:50 p.m. He forces his breathing to slow. His heartbeat is elevated but controlled. He opens the small ventilation window beside his left elbow. Freezing air at -15 degrees Fahrenheit blasts into the cockpit. Hendrix protests through the intercom that they will lose cabin pressure. Delano says he needs to hear the jets. The Me-62's Yonkers Jumo 004 engines produce a high-pitched whine that is different from propeller aircraft. Compressor blades spinning at 8,700 revolutions per minute create a sustained tone. Exhaust gases exit at 1,300 degrees. The sound carries in cold air, but distance and interference degrade it. Delano is trying to detect this specific sound, while his own engines produce 4,200 horsepower of competing noise. Whine screams through the open vent at 240 miles per hour. His leather helmet and oxygen mask muffle everything. Martinez rotates the turret through 360 degrees. He scans with binoculars but sees nothing. No exhaust flames. No silhouettes. No heat signatures against the darkness. The turret's electric motor hums as it tracks. Martinez reports no visual contact. Hendrix spreads maps across his navigation table in the cramped rear compartment. He tracks estimated positions using dead reckoning. The bomber stream is 23 miles northeast, heading 268 degrees at 16,000 feet altitude. The jets were last detected on radar, heading 255 degrees. Descending to attack altitude, Hendrix marks positions with grease pencil. He calculates intercept angles, but the calculations require knowing where the jets are now. Without radar updates, his position estimates degrade with every passing minute. Fuel becomes a factor. The P-61 carries 640 gallons. Delano has been at combat power for 90 minutes. His fuel gauges show 180 gallons remaining. At current consumption rate, he has approximately 45 minutes before he must break off or risk running out of fuel over enemy territory. The physics create an impossible problem. The jets can outrun him by 174 miles per hour. They can outclimb him at 3,900 feet per minute versus the P-61's 2,050 feet per minute. They can dive away at speeds exceeding 600 miles per hour. His only advantage is maneuverability. The P-61 can turn inside a knee to 62's turning radius. That advantage means nothing if he cannot locate them. At 11:51 p.m., Hendrix reports that he is picking up bomber stream radio traffic. The bombers are reporting an unidentified aircraft approaching from the south. The jets are already positioning for their attack. Delano banks hard left, pulling 4 Gs. The P-61's airframe groans. He rolls out heading 185 degrees, accelerating to maximum speed. The engines roar. Fuel consumption increases, but he needs every mile per hour. Every second of delay gives the jets more time to reach the bombers. Then he hears something through the wind noise and engine roar. A high-pitched whine, distant and faint. Jet engines at high power. The sound is unmistakable once identified. Multiple engines, slightly out of sync, create a wavering tone. Delano recognizes formation flying. German pilots maintaining position. Predictable discipline. He asks Martinez if he hears it. Martinez confirms, bearing northeast, approximately 2 miles, maybe less. In darkness, sound direction is nearly impossible to determine accurately. Sound reflects off cloud layers. It refracts through temperature inversions. Delano could be chasing an echo, while the real jets attack from a different direction. But doing nothing guarantees the bombers will face attack without warning. He restarts the right engine after briefly shutting it down to reduce his own noise. He advances throttles to 90% power. He turns toward where he believes the sound originated. The P-61 accelerates through 280 miles per hour. Hendrix calculates frantically. If the jets are 2 miles away, traveling at 450 miles per hour on their attack approach, Delano has approximately 2 minutes to intercept before they reach firing range on the bombers. The crew coordinates without lengthy discussion. Hendrix stops calculating navigation. He focuses on radio intercepts, translating German transmissions in real time. He reports that the lead element is acknowledging target acquisition. The jets are adjusting altitude to 16,500 feet. Attack run commencing in 60 seconds. Martinez stops, using binoculars. He watches instead for muzzle flashes. The 30mm Mk-108 cannons produce distinctive orange strobes when firing. If the jets open fire on the bombers, Martinez will know their exact position. It means bomber crews will die in that first burst, but it provides information. Delano flies straight ahead, listening. The jet whine grows louder, definitely closer. He estimates 1 mile, possibly less, but exact direction remains uncertain. He turns his head left and right, judging sound intensity. The whine seems stronger when he faces 35 degrees right of his nose. He banks right in a gentle turn, trying not to lose airspeed. The sound increases. He's getting closer. His heart rate is 140 beats per minute. His hands grip the control yoke hard enough to whiten his knuckles inside the leather gloves. Fear and determination exist simultaneously. 840 men do not have time for his doubt. At 11:55 p.m., the situation changes. Hendrix hears German radio transmissions. All elements are being ordered to engage the night fighter. They are instructed to ignore the bombers. Delano has achieved his objective without firing a shot. The jets have decided he is the priority threat. The bomber stream is safe. Now he must survive. The physical toll is accumulating. The -15-degree temperature has turned Delano's feet numb, despite heated flight boots. Frost forms on his oxygen mask, where his breath condenses. Hendrix, in the unheated rear compartment, is shivering. He blows on his hands between radio intercepts, but his voice remains steady when reporting transmissions. The first jet appears at 11:56 p.m. There's visual contact, but a sound moving at high speed from Delano's 7 o'clock position. The whine builds from faint to overwhelming in 3 seconds. Delano rolls hard right, pulling maximum G-force. The P-61 shudders at the edge of accelerated stall. His vision grays. His body is crushed into the seat. Tracers arc past the canopy. 30mm rounds miss by 50 feet. The jet overshoots. The whine Doppler shifts as it passes Delano's nose, briefly visible as a darker shadow against dark sky. Martinez yells contact. The turret rotates, but the jet is already gone, disappearing into darkness. Delano reverses left, attempting to follow, but the jet is 2 miles ahead already, looping back for another pass. He's fighting an enemy he can hear but rarely see. He's using a heavy night fighter against aircraft designed to dominate through speed. Skill earned through 89 missions keeps him alive. The refusal to quit while bomber crews need protection keeps him fighting. His neck muscles are strained from repeated high G turns. His flight suit is soaked with sweat despite the freezing temperature. Hendrix has stopped shivering in the rear compartment. This is a bad sign. Early hypothermia setting in. But Hendrix continues working, because that is what crew members do when their pilot is keeping them alive. At 11:58 p.m., the second jet attacks from above, diving at 520 miles per hour. Delano hears the whine change pitch. Doppler shift indicates closure. He pushes the control yoke forward, diving, unloading G-force. The P-61 accelerates downward. The jet's cannons flash orange for 100 yards astern. Rounds crack past the tail section. One hits the left stabilizer with a metallic impact. The P-61 shudders, but continues flying. He pulls out at 14,200 feet. The jet screams overhead. Martinez is ready this time. The turret tracks the jet's silhouette for 1.5 seconds, long enough to fire an 80-round burst. Tracers reach toward the knee, 262. Impacts spark along the jet's left engine. The aircraft pulls hard right, trailing smoke. First probable kill in darkness. Delano cannot confirm the jet crashed, but the engine damage is severe enough to force it out of the fight. 1 jet eliminated. 840 lives protected. 4 jets remaining. The fuel gauge shows 95 gallons. Delano has approximately 15 minutes before he must break off or die over enemy territory. The jets change tactics at 12 a.m. to jets attack simultaneously from opposite directions. Delano hears both engine whines, one from 3 o'clock, one from 9 o'clock, closing at combined speed exceeding 900 miles per hour. He cannot evade both. Physics does not allow it. He must choose which jet to engage and accept that the other will get a shooting opportunity. He turns into the 9 o'clock threat. The 3 o'clock jet fires. 30mm rounds walk across the P-61's right wing. To hits, explosive shells detonate against the aileron. The control surface shreds. Fabric and aluminum peel away. Delano loses 40% of his right roll authority instantly. The aircraft wants to roll left now. Every maneuver becomes a fight against the aircraft itself, but the 9 o'clock jet enters Martinez's firing arc. Martinez does not hesitate. The turret rotates. Both .50 caliber machine guns fire. Tracers converge on the jet's cockpit. The canopy shatters. The Me-262 snaps inverted. Enters a flat spin. Disappears into darkness below. Second kill confirmed. 3 jets remain. Delano's aircraft is crippled. The damaged aileron makes coordinated turns nearly impossible. He needs full left aileron just to maintain wings level flight. Fuel shows 78 gallons. Time remaining approximately 12 minutes. 3 jets still hunting. The aircraft is slowly tearing itself apart. The odds say he should run. Regulations demand it. But 840 bomber crew members are safely heading home because he refused to quit. He's not starting now. At 12:01 a.m., the 3 remaining jets regroup. They form a tactical element 3 miles north. Delano hears German radio coordination through Hendrix's translations. They are planning a simultaneous 3-axis attack. 1 jet high, 1 low, 1 level. It is a killing box. No matter which direction Delano turns, at least 1 jet will have a firing solution. Hendrix's voice is weak from cold, but determined. He suggests they break off. They save the bombers. Mission accomplished. Delano checks fuel. 72 gallons. If he turns 4 base now, he will barely make it. But 3 Me-62s will remain operational. Free to hunt bombers tomorrow night, the night after, until they are destroyed. 3 jets represent 30 dead bomber crews eventually. 300 men who will die because Delano chose survival over duty. He says negative. They finish this at 12:09 a.m. The 3 jets execute their coordinated attack. Delano hears all 3 engine signatures converging. High pitch whine from above, medium pitch from level flight, low pitch from below. The sounds create an auditory cage, a trap closing from 3 directions simultaneously. He has approximately 4 seconds before all 3 jets enter firing range. He does something that violates every tactical principle. He reduces throttles to idle. He extends flaps. He deploys landing gear. The P-61 decelerates violently from 260 miles per hour to 180 in 3 seconds. Every alarm in the cockpit activates. Warnings about stall speed. Warnings about imminent loss of control. The jet traveling at 480 miles per hour cannot adjust. All 3 overshoot catastrophically. They scream past Delano's position, unable to slow fast enough. Their attack plan is destroyed by physics. They did not anticipate. Martinez's turret tracks the level jet. It is the only one close enough for effective fire. He fires a 120-round burst. Tracers walk across the jet's fuselage from tail to nose. Hits spark along the airframe. The jet's right engine explodes. Fuel and aluminum fragments into an orange fireball that briefly illuminates the night. 3rd kill confirmed. To jets remaining. Fuel shows 64 gallons. Approximately 10 minutes left. But the sudden deceleration has consequences. Delano's airspeed is below 180 miles per hour. Dangerously slow. Approaching stall speed. He retracts gear and flaps. He advances throttles. The P-61 takes pressure seconds to accelerate. During those seconds, the 2 remaining jets loop back. They are repositioning. They have learned from their dead comrades' mistakes. At 12:11 a.m., coordinated attack from 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock positions. Delano hears both winds building. He recognizes the geometry. He's accelerating through 220 miles per hour, but it is not enough. The jets have him this time. There is no maneuver that physics allows, no trick that will work twice. This time, he is going to die. The 6 o'clock jet fires first. 30mm rounds tear through the P-61's left engine. The Pratt & Whitney R-2800 disintegrates. Pistons, crankshaft, cylinder heads fragment in cascading mechanical failure. Oil pressure drops to zero. Engine fire warning illuminates, bathing the cockpit in red light. Delano kills fuel to the left engine. He activates fire suppression. Halon gas floods the nacelle, smothering flames. The engine is destroyed. He's flying on single engine power at 18,000 feet over Germany. Damaged aileron. Critically low fuel. To jet's positioning for the final attack. Every calculation says he's dead. Every statistic confirms it. The mathematics of aerial combat give him zero chance of survival. The 12 o'clock jet positions for the kill. Nose pointed directly at the P-61. Cannons firing. 30mm rounds tracking toward Delano's cockpit. Delano sees muzzle flashes 300 yards ahead. He sees death approaching at 1,800 feet per second. Martinez rotates the turret forward, beyond its normal firing arc. He forces the electric motor past safety stops. Mechanical components grind in protest. The twin .50 calibers point almost straight ahead, aimed at the approaching jets through an angle that was not designed into the turret's range of motion. Martinez fires into the darkness where the muzzle flashes originated. It is desperation shooting, blind fire. One tracer stream intersects the jet's cockpit. The canopy shatters. The pilot slumps. The Me-262 noses over. Diving out of control. Fourth kill confirmed. One jet remaining. Fuel 51 gallons. Approximately 8 minutes. Delano's P-61 is dying. Single engine power cannot maintain altitude. He's descending through 17,400 feet at 300 feet per minute. The damaged aileron vibrates violently, threatening to tear free. Airspeed decreasing. 210 miles per hour. 205. 200. The last jet circles at distance. Engine whine fading, then returning. The German pilot is staying outside the P-61's firing arc, waiting for Delano to lose more altitude, become more vulnerable. It is professional. It is patient. It is exactly what Delano would do in the same position. At 12:14 a.m., Hendrix reports through chattering teeth that fuel is critically low. They have 10 minutes remaining. Martinez adds that ammunition is down to 200 rounds. The mathematics are simple. Delano is descending through 16,800 feet in a crippled aircraft, hunting a jet pilot who has watched for wingmen die and learned from their mistakes. Time is running out. The bomber stream has scattered safely. Crews are reporting the Me-260 to threat eliminated. They are heading home to bases in England. Ground crews and hot coffee, and tomorrow await them. Those 840 men will never know Frank Delano's name. They will never know that 3 men in a crippled night fighter drew 5 jets away from them. But Delano knows. That is sufficient. The final jet makes its approach. At 12:16 a.m., the whine builds from Delano's 4 o'clock position. High attack, diving at maximum speed. This pilot has learned from watching for wingmen die. He's attacking from an angle where Martinez's turret cannot track fast enough, where Delano's damaged controls cannot maneuver effectively. It is the perfect attack. Textbook execution. Delano rolls inverted with his crippled aileron. He fights the aircraft every inch. The P-61 protests with groans and shudders. He pulls through, pointing the nose straight up. Aerobatic maneuver on single engine power. Suicide by any reasonable assessment. But it rotates the aircraft's axis. It brings Martinez's guns to bear on the diving jet. The turret tracks. Electric motor screaming. Martinez fires his last 200 rounds. Tracers arc upward into darkness. The Me-262 flies directly into the stream. Hits March across the jet's nose. The radar housing shatters. Cockpit instruments explode. The pilot pulls hard left to hard. Panic overriding training. The jet's airspeed is too high for that G-loading. The right wing rips off at the root. The Me-262 tumbles. Both engines still screaming. Cartwheeling through 14,000 feet before impacting terrain with a flash. Visible 30 miles away. Fifth kill confirmed. At 12:18 a.m., silence descends. No more jet whines. No more muzzle flashes. No more enemy. Just 3 men in a dying aircraft 140 miles from base, flying on one engine, losing altitude, damaged controls barely responding. Delano checks his fuel. 38 gallons. He is bleeding hydraulic fluid, losing oil pressure. The working engine is overheating from carrying the full load. Every gauge shows red warnings. Every system is failing. But 840 men are heading home safely. Hendrix plots a course to the nearest Allied airfield, a forward strip near Aachen, France, 95 miles west. Delano turns toward it, nursing the single engine. He trims for maximum efficiency, trading altitude for distance. The P-61 descends through 15,000 feet, then 14,000. Fuel shows 32 gallons. The mathematics say he will not make it. Physics says survival is impossible. At 12:32 a.m., fuel reads 18 gallons. Altitude 11,200 feet. Distance to airfield 47 miles. The engine will quit in 8 minutes. They will be 20 miles short. 20 miles might as well be 200 when gliding a 30,000-pound aircraft with a dead engine and damaged controls. Martinez abandons the turret. He moves forward to help Delano with the controls. The damaged aileron requires constant correction. Both men pull together on the yoke, fighting the aircraft every second, arms screaming with fatigue. Hendrix transmits mayday calls across frequencies. Allied radar stations track their approach. Emergency crews prepare. Everyone monitoring those radios understands the truth. The P-61 will not make the runway. At 12:39 a.m., the engine coughs. Fuel for gallons. Altitude 8,600 feet. Distance 22 miles. Through breaking clouds, Delano identifies a large field bathed in moonlight. Cleared farmland near the German-French border. He sets up for forced landing. The hydraulic failure means the landing gear will not extend properly. They are going to belly land at high speed in darkness. At 12:41 a.m., the engine dies. Complete fuel exhaustion. The propeller windmills uselessly in the slipstream. The P-61 descends at 600 feet per minute. Silence fills the cockpit except for wind noise and the breathing of 3 men who have kept each other alive through impossible odds. Delano glides toward the field. No power, no hydraulics, just gravity and momentum, and skill earned through 90 missions. Altitude 3,200 feet. Distance 4 miles. They will barely make it. The P-61 crosses the field boundary at 400 feet. Airspeed 140 miles per hour. Too fast. But Delano has no choice. He flares, bleeding speed. The tail settles. Main gear touches frozen earth at 110 miles per hour. The landing gear collapses instantly. Metal shrieks. The P-61's belly strikes ground. Friction creates sparks that stream behind like fireworks. The aircraft slides 800 feet across frozen soil. Left wing digs in, spinning the fuselage 180 degrees. Then silence. Delano hangs in his harness, disoriented but alive. No fire, no explosion, just silence and the knowledge that they survived. Martinez kicks open the turret hatch. Hendrix climbs from the navigator's compartment, moving like an old man. Hypothermia, making every movement difficult. Both men pull Delano from the cockpit. They stand together beside their destroyed aircraft as dawn breaks on March 24, 1945. The Silent Reaper will never fly again, but 5 Mi-260 jets will never hunt bombers again either, and 840 men are heading home to families who will never know how close death came. American ground forces reached them at 6:15 a.m. Elements of the 9th Armored Division. A medic treats Delano's cracked ribs, Hendrix's severe frostbite, Martinez's whiplash from the crash landing. A colonel examines the wreckage. He counts empty shell casings. He listens to Delano's account of the engagement. The colonel is skeptical. Night interception without radar is not documented as feasible. 5 kills in one engagement exceeds standard performance parameters. The claim seems implausible until radio intercepts from German units confirm 5 Mi-62s lost to unknown night fighter over Nuremberg. Then skepticism transforms into something else, respect. The understanding that sometimes men do extraordinary things because circumstances demand it. By March 26th, all 3 crew members are cleared for duty. The Army Air Forces promotes Delano to captain, awards him the Distinguished Flying Cross. Hendrix and Martinez receive the Air Medal. The 422nd Night Fighter Squadron receives official commendation. More importantly, the bomber stream Delano protected, those 84 B-17s carrying 840 men, returned to base without losses that night. The navigator from Ohio got to see his daughter grow up. The waist gunner from Brooklyn eventually brought his wife to meet the mother, whose cooking he never stopped talking about. The pilot from Montana flew 30 more missions with his wife's handkerchief in his jacket. He survived to give it back to her in person. They never knew Frank Delano's name, but they lived because he existed. Frank Delano returned to Worcester, Massachusetts in November 1945. He carried memories of darkness and decision, of fear conquered by duty, of the weight of 840 lives saved. He married Catherine Riley on January 12, 1946. They had 3 children who grew up knowing their father was a veteran but never understanding the depth of what he had done. Paul Hendrix settled in Denver. He taught mathematics. He wrote technical papers about acoustic aircraft tracking that influenced Air Force doctrine during the Korean War. Every March 23rd, he wrote Delano a letter. Every letter said the same thing in different words. You saved my life. Thank you. Robert Martinez returned to San Antonio. He worked as a machinist. He raised 4 children who knew their father had fought in the war, but never knew he had fired blind into darkness and hit invisible targets through skill and courage. The 3 men reunited 7 times between 1946 and 1991. Each time they discussed everything except March 23, 1945. That night remained private, understood without speaking, honored through silence rather than words. Frank Delano died in Worcester on August 4, 2003 at age 82. His obituary mentioned military service, but not the 5 kills, not the impossible mission, not the 840 lives saved. The details remained classified until 2008, when military historians began researching night fighter operations and found reports that should not exist. 5 jets destroyed without radar, 3 men who refused to quit, courage measured in minutes and miles, mathematics that said survival was impossible. Today, a single photograph exists. 3 young men beside Silent Reaper in February 1945, barely visible in grainy black and white. They are smiling, unaware that in 1 month they will face their defining moment, their impossible mission, their chance to prove that humanity at its best means protecting others even when protection costs everything. That photograph hangs in the Air Force Museum. Nobody looking at it knows the whole story. They see 3 young men in flight jackets. They do not see the courage it took to fight blind in darkness. They do not see the 840 lives saved. They do not see March 23, 1945, when technology failed and humanity triumphed. Frank Delano, Paul Hendrix, and Robert Martinez represent what ordinary people become when circumstances demand it, not through supernatural ability, through the simple choice to protect others even when protection seems impossible. March 23, 1945. 3 men fought 5 jets in absolute darkness with dead radar and impossible odds. They won because they refused to accept defeat, because they trusted each other completely, because 840 lives mattered more than their own safety. They carried that memory through decades in Massachusetts, Colorado, and Texas, through marriages and children and quiet lives that never advertised their heroism. Their achievement lives on through documented record,